Have you ever wondered if Eve was really created from a rib? What if this idea is one of the greatest distortions we've ever heard? Think for a moment. How could the translation of a single word have completely changed the way we understand the creation of humanity? What if the rib idea was actually an interpretation mistake that overlooked a much deeper and more transformative meaning? The original Hebrew text reveals something surprising, something that may challenge everything we believe about our origins. Are you willing to question traditions, or would you rather accept what has always been taught without reflection? Today we're going to explore this issue in depth. What you discover may completely change the way you view this story. As we delve deeper, the key question is, does the text really speak of a rib or something much greater? Let's analyze the language, the cultural and historical context, and the theological impact of this possible misinterpretation. This isn't just about a word, it's about God's original intention and what it may reveal about equality, partnership, and human purpose. If you've ever felt there's more to the scriptures than meets the eye, then this is the moment to uncover the hidden mysteries in the creation of Eve. Let's reflect together on the meaning of zela and discover what the true biblical message can teach us. You are surely familiar with the story. God put Adam into a deep sleep, took one of his ribs, and from it created the woman. This narrative, described in Genesis 2:21-22, has been passed down through the centuries as a literal explanation of Eve's origin. It's a powerful image, often depicted in sermons, paintings, and metaphors about the union between man and woman. The idea of Eve being created from a rib symbolizes closeness, partnership, and love. But does this literal view do justice to the depth of the original text? Let's examine that more closely. Historically, this literal interpretation has served as the foundation for many traditions and concepts about relationships and gender roles. Some see it as a symbol of union, where man and woman are parts of a greater whole. Others have interpreted it more restrictively, justifying the idea that women have a secondary role. However, the impact of this reading goes beyond symbolism. It has shaped cultures, influenced beliefs, and perpetuated stereotypes that may not have been part of God's plan. But what if the original text tells us something completely different? The original Hebrew in Genesis uses the word zela, which was translated as rib. Here's the key point. Zela is not the common word for rib. In the Old Testament, it appears many times, almost always meaning side, like the side of a structure or object. For example, in Exodus, zela describes the sides of the tabernacle, the sacred structure of the Israelites. In 1 Kings, it's used to talk about the side chambers of Solomon's temple. There is no mention of ribs in these cases, so why was it translated as rib in Genesis? The confusion seems to have started with the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew scriptures made by Jewish scholars in the 3rd century BC. They use the Greek word pleura, which can mean both side and rib. This ambiguity was perpetuated in later translations, such as the Vulgate by Jerome, which used costa to represent zela. The Latin translation became the basis for many other Bible versions, including the King James, solidifying the rib idea. But what if zela actually means side in Genesis? Think about the impact of that. Instead of Eve being created from a small part of Adam, she would have been formed from an entire side, symbolizing equality and full partnership. This would transform the narrative, moving away from an implied hierarchy and highlighting God's divine intention for union and balance. This perspective also aligns with other biblical passages that talk about the creation of man and woman. In Genesis 1:27, it says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them." Here, there is no hierarchy, only equality. The creation of Eve from a side of Adam would reinforce this message, while the rib idea could suggest subordination that may not have been in the original text. As we reflect on this, fundamental questions arise. Why have these nuances been lost or distorted over time? What impact has this had on the way women have been seen and treated in cultures influenced by this interpretation? And more importantly, what can we learn by revisiting the original text with an open mind? The story of Eve's creation is not just about the origins of humanity. It's about how we understand our identity and purpose as beings created in God's image. What do you think? Are you ready to explore this narrative in a new light and rediscover the depth of God's divine plan for humanity? The truth may be hidden in the original words, waiting to be revealed. Let's embark on this journey of discovery and reflection together. As we explore the true depth of the biblical text, one thing is clear. The original understanding of zela has the power to transform our view of Eve's creation, and more importantly, the creation of humanity. By questioning old interpretations and going beyond the surface, we can discover a deeper meaning that invites us to reflect on equality, partnership, and the divine purpose that unites men and women. This isn't just about a word or a translation. It's about understanding the divine plan in its entirety, challenging old paradigms, and drawing closer to a clearer and more transformative vision of creation. So what do you think? Are you ready to change the way you see this foundational story? Let's continue this journey together, exploring deeper into the mysteries and hidden truths within the scriptures. If you're interested in discoveries like this, subscribe to our channel, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and of course share with your friends so that more people can join us on this journey of reflection. Don't miss the next videos.